The kind of girl that you could be down for. 'Cause when I look at you, I feel something tells me that you're the kind of guy that I should make a move on with. And if I don't let you know, then I won't be for real. I could be wrong, but the kind of lay your head on my pillow. Touch is making me feel like when I get around you, I feel crazy. 'Cause I feel so comfortable with you.
Welcome back to Miss Joan Uncut with me, your host, Miss Joan, back with another video. I first want to thank all my subscribers. I know it has been a bumpy few days, but I just thank those who stuck it out with me. I'm still learning. Not everything that is on my mind needs to be said, but I'm learning and I don't regret anything. Thank all my new subscribers. Thank you for entrusting in me to give you commentary. You know how we do over here, right? We spectate. We do not participate in any drama. We say what the fuck we gotta say and we move it right along. Okay. So you know how we do. Let's get into it, baby. As I was on these YouTube streets, per usual, minding my business, child, I saw Real Life put out an interview of Terrance Gangsta WillIams talking about Jaguar Wright. Now, just to catch you up, who he is a brother of, I believe, Birdman. He's definitely from Cash Money. And so he has done a long, extensive time in jail. He pretty much had a life sentence. And recently he have been collaborating with Jaguar Wright. Okay, now I know I said I'm moving my content on. And I am, but I also said if it is worthy to talk about when it comes to Jag, I'm going to talk about it. Child, so when I saw the title of this video, I was like, Lord, this man is out here. So the title was A Night with Jaguar Wright, Terrance Gangsta WillIams on Hook Up with Jaguar Wright. I said, I know this man is not out here kissing and telling, child. I know his ass is not up on this YouTube telling all his and Jag's business. So let's go ahead and get into some of these notes so we can go ahead and get an idea of what this interview was. Okay, so pretty much, but when I say Real Life is eating off of Jaguar's right name, they're coming out with a video of her like every day now. They putting Jag to work, child. Jag needs somewhere to sleep and stay, and they are milking her for everything. And I'm pretty sure Jag is getting paid a little something, because if not, she a fool. So when I first saw this, I'm like, this is so ungentlemanlike of Terrance to be doing an interview about Jaguar Wright. And I was like, oh my God, is he about to embarrass this woman? Like, what could he say? Because we all know like Jag's reputation out here on the internet, right? So baby, before Terrance can even get to talking and speaking about Jag, his beeper go off. You heard that right, child. His beeper. I said, baby, it's 2024. Like, we still got beepers. The last time I seen a beeper was what? Early 99, 90s. And the only two people I knew had beepers were doctors and drug dealers. But I digress, child. I digress. But I didn't even know they still sold or made beepers. So that tells you a lot. He been in jail for a long time, child. So my first thought was that, you know, so this is him. This is Terrance. They're asking him about, you know, him meeting Jaguar Wright. And what he says is his first thought was that Jag would spaz out, right? She would go off because I guess he's heard about her and he have seen some things where she's always pretty much going off about something or someone. And that he also thought that when they met, all he wanted to do was get her in the bed, child. This is his words, not mine. He wanted to get Jaguar Wright into the bed and have her talk celebrity tea, like talk about Diddy, Jay-Z, while he humping on her, child, and choking her out. I said, these some freaky ass niggas. There's some freaky ass people out here. And it's like to each his own, right? I'm not knocking it, but like nobody keeps anything private anymore. But this is what he thought about Jag, y'all. It's like when he first like knew he was gonna meet her, he already had it in his head that he wanted to like be smashing them cheeks. Okay, I'm trying to be a little PG-13 a little bit. Smashing them cheeks while she talks about celebrity gossip while he got his hands around her neck. Child, I don't understand it, but okay. So then, I believe the person who's interviewing real life, this Joker, he went to want to bring up a dominoes game. So they were bringing up that supposedly a night of a dominoes game, Jaguar Wright was supposed to catch a flight out of Dallas, right? But he said he threw on his game, he spit his little game, you know what I'm saying, his New Orleans game, and eventually Jag decided to change her flight and stay a little longer. So what happened was once she changed her flight, they ended up going to some restaurant, I believe he said in downtown Dallas, right? So I was like, child, he really finessed the hell out that woman, clearly. So he said like after that night they went to the restaurant, he had to go in the studio with one of his artists and Jag went. Well, he said Jag ends up falling asleep on a couch in the studio. And he noticed that she was asleep, and in his mind, he like, her ass gonna have to wake up. After doing all this running around, he wanted to get him some. Child, his words, not mine. You can listen to the interview yourself. That's what he said. And automatically I was like, see, already he thought because he spent money and he did X, Y, and Z for her, he automatically feeling as though like he automatically deserves them cheeks. Child, Jag, she a grown lady. She can take care of herself though. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So he said what happened was he woke her up, right? And he said she went and she showered up. She did her whole hygiene, and he let her sleep in the bed, and he slept on the couch. Now I do remember him when he did his YouTube when she was with him a couple weeks back. He did say that she slept in the bed and he slept on the couch, right? So automatically I'm like, okay, where we going with this? But then I started thinking he had to make sure that he mentioned her hygiene. What's one thing we know about Jag that she has an issue with people talking about? Her hygiene. And that's when I kind of started putting the puzzle together, like, okay. So then real life goes back into this whole domino game conversation because he brought it up more than once. So they go to mention that night before she changed her flight, that they was having a dominoes game, and Jag had made a statement saying that a real man is a killer. Child. A real man is a killer, child. That's what Jag said because the history of Terrance Gangsta WillIams, you know, he used to put in work back in the day. So Jag is attracted to a man who is known to possibly have bodies on him. Child. Okay. All right. And I was and they kept bringing that up, and they started asking him questions and about like, you know, is that something from like the woman of his generation that have a thing? Because I guess he mentioned that women back then, before, you know, he got locked up, that women actually got turned on by men who are, I guess, known to be dangerous. I mean, there's a possibility, it's attraction to it, but it's 2024. That ain't cute no more. Because now they actually following through and they taking women out. But I digress. Okay, so he comes right out and he asks the guy, Joker, Terrance does. He pretty much go like, are you trying to ask me, try to find out if I had sex with Jag? Now, remind you, they are trying to bait him and trying to give some information on whether he had sexual relations with Jaguar Wright. You can tell. So he goes to say that he let her stay at his house because they was like, well, why did you feel comfortable with her coming to your house? He said, well, yeah, I could have put her in a hotel, but I wanted her to stay at my house because I wanted, you know, I felt like she was no threat. So he figured he would make her comfortable. And then Jag, honey, that night ended up cooking him dinner, some spaghetti and some meat sauce. That's what he called it, spaghetti and some meat sauce. And I was like, Jag definitely know how to pay her dues, don't she? Said, child, that's all she really getting off of is the cook and clean. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. So then he goes to say, and he goes to explain that, he did a lot of time in jail. And because of that, he wanted to get to third base with Jaguar. He wasn't even trying to get to first base. He was trying to get to third base with her. And that the good thing is he didn't have to, honey, listen to me. Listen to what I'm about to say. He said he was trying to get to third base with Jaguar Wright, right? He said the good thing is he did not have to spend a lot of money. And the guy Joker go, was it less than 200? And Terrance Gangsta WillIams said yes. And he said he claims Jag is a gangster, by the way. But literally, he said he was trying to get to third base with her and he didn't have to spend a lot of money on her. Now, I'm not saying, a lot of money got to be spent, but how do you think that's perceived? Pretty easy to me, but I digress. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get women, we gossip and we talk, but when men come out and they just start talking and about the things they do with women, it's just weird. It's just really strange. That's just my opinion. It's really weird. And the fact that he made sure to mention that he didn't have to pay more than like $200 to keep Jag entertained and accompanied. Some people worth is just more than 200. I'm just saying. I digress though. So then he goes to say like she pretty much just like went to bed and then they got up the next day and she made him breakfast. So Joker in the middle of this, he's like, hold on, wait a minute. He was like, is there some type of like cliffhanger? He was like, that's it? Like, nothing happened? I said, baby, he messy. Okay? Real messy. So then, baby, listen. Okay, come on in. Lean in just a little bit. Just lean in a little bit, okay? Because then Terrance Gangsta WillIams goes to say that after a few days of Jag being there with him, he ended up asking Jag, has she been to the doctor and has she been tested? Is she with baby? Which leads me to think he didn't heard the stuff that was going on. She told him, from my understanding too, about what was going on with her ex, and he wanted to know these things. My question is, did she show you? Because now in 2024, you get your results and all your stats and all your testing right to your phone. And she should be able to show you that everything came back negative. But again, I digress. Child, y'all know I gotta be a little messy. Just a little bit. So then Joker then says that he wasn't going to beat around the bush. And he is like, Jaguar Wright is still technically married. Now, this is where like it was a contradiction. I feel like this was clickbait. I really do. But I'm going to go ahead and finish and then I'll tell you why I thought like this whole interview was just really clickbait. So then Terrance goes to say, well, he paused for a minute and he smiles. And then he goes to say, well, I didn't know she was still married. He goes to mention that he knew that she had some other stuff going on that she had told him about not too long ago. And y'all know who that person is. But he then says, he goes to say that he doesn't mess with married women, but if they are separated, then it's fair game. So he claims he didn't know Jag was married. He goes to say he was aware of a situation that she was currently in, but that he don't mess with married women. But if they are separated, they are fair game. Okay, now it's going to be a contradiction coming up, but just hold that thought. So then the Joker goes to mention that last year in 2023, Jag was heading to one of his birthday parties, I guess, and that something had went down because he didn't really say, but he was like, when everything went left, heading to his B-Day party, it can look some type of way. I don't know if y'all are aware of what they're speaking about. I personally am not sure what it is they're speaking about, but clearly something had went down. And he went to go to explain that he's used to kind of like, I guess, controversy because ever since he's been out of jail, he has been, he's built his whole platform and his whole image up on like controversy. So he wasn't really bothered by whatever happened, I guess, with Jag. They might be just in sync. Who knows? So then Terrance goes to say, now, this is where I say the contradiction. Now, remember, he said he stopped and paused and said, I didn't know she was married. But then he goes to say that he had spoke to Jag a few, like some, I guess, weeks back or days back. Jag told him some days ago, that her husband was upset. These are his words, not mine. So he knew she was married. I'm like, so you knew she was married? You just said you didn't know she was married. But he goes to say that her husband was upset that they were hugging up, or he was hugging up on Jag during FaceTime. I'm like, Goomba was upset? I can't really see Goomba being upset that Jag is over there hugged up and on FaceTime. I think she's just lying to the man. I really do. I just really think she's like lying to him and he believing it. It's like the poor souls that really like take Jag words for law. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so he goes to mention and asks her, like, are y'all getting a divorce? Because we can go down to the city hall and get married themselves. Baby, when I said this man is being funny, he cannot keep a straight face. When I saw him say, I think this was just clickbait. I think, you know, him and Jag was cool. He never technically ever said that he slept with Jag. He just made like inferences, and he tried to like make it seem as though, but he never directly in this entire interview, that the part that he talks about Jaguar Wright, he never once mentioned being intimate with her. So even if they did, he made sure not to really come out and say it. But some of the things, just watch, right? You'll see. So then he goes to say that he never wants to go back to prison, right? And that being in public with Jag, he knows she's a loose cannon. And he know he will have to have her back because there's cameras and phones. So he pretty much saying, like, you know, he knows how Jag is, and going out in public, he know there's a possibility that something could pop off with her, and that he's gonna ride with her regardless. But also when he mentions there's phones, like, you know, he gotta do something, because if he don't, people gonna record it, and then they gonna shred him, right? Why even put yourself in risk to go out in public with someone that you know have a issue with being aggressive and confrontational, and that could potentially put you back behind bars? I don't care how cool we are. If I know going out with you in public is detrimental to my freedom, you can go by yourself. I'm getting way too old to be jeopardizing my freedom for other mother. And he older than me, so I don't understand how his ass don't feel like that. I mean, I get be a ride or die. If I'm out with my man and we got a ride or die, that's different. But at the same time, I need to be asking myself, why the hell am I with somebody that we can't even go in public and be normal? Anyway. So then, pretty much for him, he goes to run down. For him to run down on somebody, because what they Joker in them asked him, like, would you, you know, if Jag asked you to, like, put a hit on somebody, pretty much, like, would you do it? So what Terrance says is, for him to run down on somebody for Jag, there would have to be a big check, right? He said in his bank account. He explains that once he was paid $20,000 to delete someone. And now because he's older and because it's more of a risk, because everything with like cameras and everything, you would have to literally pay him. This man says this, you would have to pay him more to take somebody out, to put somebody down, to, you know, RIP them. So bold to say that on a platform. I would have thought he'd be like, I don't do that no more. That's not my ministry no more. You know, even if he was doing it on the low, I would have denied that in public opinions. I don't do that no more. I don't know what you're talking about. He straight said, yeah, you have to pay me big bucks to take somebody out. That's why they call his ass Terrance Gangsta. Because, child, that was bold. So then Joker asked Terrance if Jag, you know, if Jag had a check for him, would he trust it? Baby, when I say Terrance paused and he said, yeah. And then he stated, see, I quote, see, you're trying to get me, you're trying to get Jag to curse me out, because in my heart, I want to say no. I said, Lord. He was like, I really want to say no, but I'm going to say yes on the sake that Jag won't curse my ass out. And I'm just like, they up here clowning. Like, this is a joke. Like, if you see the title and then you hear the interview, it's a joke. It's a joke. Now, in the interview, he does talk about other things with his life, like being in the feds and Diddy and a whole Drake and Kendrick. And it was actually a good conversation. I did not expect to even enjoy it, but it wasn't bad at all. But the Jag part was straight a joke. Okay. So he said in order for like to take money or a check from Jaguar Wright, he would actually go to the bank with Jag to make sure the check is good. He said even if it takes like 2 days, they'll hang out for those 2 days and kick it until that check is cleared, and then he'll go, you know, do his Doug Dizzle. That's what he said. So then he was asked, you know, what's a good thing about Jag? And he replied that Jaguar Wright is a good listener, child. She's cool and she's down to earth. His words, not mine. Then Joker goes to ask, you know, did Jag have any tattoos? Joker was messy in this interview because he heard that she had some tattoos in a certain place. I think he even mentioned like her inner thigh. So Terrance states that you have to be a special person to see the tattoos that she has on her. And he mentioned, right? And then he says that this is one special tattoo that he's not going to discuss, because then he don't want other women to think that like whatever they have going on, he would discuss it too. Y'all heard that right. Y'all heard that right. And I'm just like, as it's going, I'm like, what the fuck is the point of all of this? I'm trying to understand where we going. Where's the direction? That's when I just was like, okay, I thought this was going to be like a kiss and tell, but it's coming off more like clickbait, right? Because you could tell they're all laughing and they're cracking jokes. Child, it's still messy. That title is still messy. So then he was like, you know, Jag is known for having some like crazy viral moments, and you know, what is it that's something that the public eye wouldn't know about her? The young lady asked that. And so Terrance goes in response that Jag is known for being he knows that she's known for being crazy, but he said Jag actually cares what other people think. And that when Jag will have her phone will be all the way up to as loud as it can go. And every time Jag will go to sleep, she'll be listening to herself, her own interviews. And because of that, he says people think Jag is crazy, but she's smart because she listens to her own interviews, and that she really cares what people think, and that she's a real sweetheart. So here's my thing, how my brain functions. So, okay, so she listens to her own interviews. So how I took it as, of course, she's going to listen to her own interview. She has to constantly remember the things that she said in one interview, because she has to keep the story. Like, she has to be accurate and concise in her storytelling every time she talks to someone. Because you know the internet, if she say one thing in one interview and go to a whole nother interview and say something contrary to what she said in her previous interview, right? Everybody's going to point that out. So yes, she's going to listen to her interviews. And I think we already kind of knew that she does care what people think about her, as much as she makes it seem like she doesn't. I mean, come on now. Out of all the things he could have mentioned, he made sure that we knew her ass washed her ass. He made sure we knew about that hygiene. Okay. Anyway. So he goes to say that pretty much to tell us that when they was like, I guess recently, not too long ago, when they were supposed to be like cuddled up and being booed up, you know, canoodling, that they were literally having an argument about Drake and Kendrick's beef, right? And he was like, I guess that's just like how their dynamic is, I guess, at times. And he goes to talk about that some more. So later in the interview, they discuss him being, you know, who he is as Terrance Gangsta Williams, and Jaguar being who she is. They feel like it could be a big move. They could have a reality show. Baby, when I say Terrance came straight out and said he can't be faithful right now, he needs at least 2 to 3 girlfriends, and that he pretty much is into like the whole poly thing. And that he want a girl that like girls. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want him and Jag to get married. I don't know why marriage came up like twice in this interview about these two. But it's like Jag trying to find a new husband already. Or I don't know. I just know he mentioned marriage with Jag twice in this interview. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. But he said he didn't want to get married to Jag. And one night he sees another woman and he calls her to be like, I'm not coming home. And then it'll be like a whole thing. So what, like, right? So it's like, he came on here to talk about his interactions with Jag. He really barely said anything, but then he goes to pretty much just come out and say like, oh yeah, I couldn't be with her. And I don't know about y'all, but to me, it's just like how many times, like it's a little embarrassing because Jag has been rejected by quite a few men on the internet, child. Like she's been rejected. Like at some point, when do you be like, enough is enough? But that's just me. That's just me. I just like, child, every time we turn around, it's a man saying like, no, they can't really be with Jag. But at least he was honest, right? Now, here's my final thoughts on this whole interview, right? 9 times out of 10, Jag was aware of this interview because he claimed she was the one calling him on a beeper in the beginning. And I'm like, pretty much, Jag is okay with this. Most likely, she loves this. It boosts her ego, right? Him openly talking about the dealings, any type of dealings he have with her, because you know, Jag, her image is like having a whole man, and men want her. Let her tell it. But here is somebody that come out, right? He makes little remarks on making it seem as though like he been with Jag, but he didn't really say he was with Jag. But then he makes sure to say he can't be with Jag. You following me? That right there. I said, girl, you better off than me. So you better off than me. But you know, Jag don't care. So I truly felt like this was really just a clickbait interview, right? They are literally going to take every possibility. Real life is going to take every single possibility that they have to milk the hell out of Jag's name, right? And I mean, they're racking up on her. If you go over there, anything with Jag almost hits, all her videos hits about 1 million. Now, it makes sense, right? She's not begging for cash apps anymore, so we know they're hitting her off with some money here and there. Probably not as much as she probably should be getting. But it's like, girl, your value is decreasing because nobody's going to want to interview because you're already you're putting out all this business that we know she's not really getting. Like, really, honestly, y'all think somebody in the industry is still like telling her secrets? Jag would tell us who it is just to prove a point. She would tell who her intel is. I digress. So, baby, let me tell you something, right? Before we go, that interview took a whole different turn. So let's first start off with, towards the end, there was a young lady that sat on the couch with Terrance Gangsta because she was promoting her hookah. She makes hookahs. And it was actually interesting. She made a hookah shaped as, I believe, an AK-47 and a gun, a pink one. And baby, they had her sit next to Terrance Gangsta WillIams on that couch. And I believe Joker or one of them said, oh, you know, Jag gonna probably get upset about this. But I said, child. And the way he was like hugging up on her, and she's 29, she's of age, and he wanted to make sure. How do you do an interview about a woman that you supposedly have some type of like connection or some type of relationship with? And then, child, I said, And he kept making, he knew that Jag was gonna feel some type of way. That man didn't care, but Jag probably don't care. Child, you see the picture. You see the picture. And overall, the interview was very interesting. So before we go towards the end, how this whole interview ends, some white thug dude walked up to Terrance while he was sitting on a couch, child, and was pretty much asking him like, what, you gonna do something? You gonna do something? And then the Joker guy jumps up and try to separate them, and he's just like, how did this dude even get in here? And Terrance, as they like kind of like going at it and they're pulling them apart, Terrance says out his mouth, that's Boosie, homeboy, in the video pretty much ended. I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip so y'all can see it for yourself.
Hey, boy, what you want from you, boy? How you get in here? Hold this down, beat the fuck out. Hold this down, beat the fuck out.
That's Boosie, homeboy.
How you get in here, boy?
Okay, it's on, bro. I'm gonna see it, bro. What's up with this dude, bro?
Hold this down. Hey, boy, what you want from you, boy? How you get in here? Hold this down, beat the fuck out. Hold this down, beat the fuck out.
That's Boosie, homeboy.
How you get in here, boy?
Okay, it's on, bro. I'm gonna see it, bro. What's up with this dude, bro?
Hold this down.
Baby. First of all, I kind of think like, is this clickbait? Did they set this whole up? You got to see it though. I only took a very snippet because I wanted to be respectful of their content. But yo, you watch the dude just walk in the interview, walk up on him. Number one rule, you never stay sitting in a chair when a person is walking to you. When they are walking to you, you are automatically supposed to jump up. You'll never let nobody stand on top of you screaming and yelling at you. And he kept saying, you want some homeboy? And then finally, I guess Terrance realized like, oh, this for real. He gets up and it kind of separates them. And then you see in the video that I put where dude just like, hold my chain, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of him. But you could see a smirk on Terrance's face. So I wasn't really quite sure whether this was real or clickbait because it ended just like that. I don't know. But him and Jag seem perfect for each other. I'm just gonna say that. Because that was a mess. That was a mess. But that's all I got for you. Yeah, I just thought it was very interesting that this man came out here and really didn't say much, but wanted us to know that, like, I guess him and Jack kick it. Joker was being very messy. He was trying to pry more out of him, but Terrance wasn't going to say anything. And we pretty much walk away knowing that, yeah, he has no intentions or ever really being with Jaguar Wright. So if she comes out here talking about Terrance, Gangsta WillIams, her man, you watch that interview. He tells you out his mouth, you know, now I don't know if Terrance noticed Jag do like women. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. She might don't mind being the bottom bitch. I'm just saying. But if you made it to the end, you know you are a real one. I really do appreciate you sticking it out and hearing what I have to say. You know how we do over here. I hope everyone have a blessed rest of their week and smooches.
You deserve it.